It's time to pull those belts tight, race fans. The front stretch is coming at you, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Dirk Houston.
Well, good morning, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. That is karting with a K. Fast-paced, white-knuckle, eco-friendly racing right here in your hometown of Omaha and Council Bluffs. Get over to Council Bluffs today, 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs. You can find directions on their website at the newly renovated joeskarting.com. It's amazing racing. That really, the best thing about it is that the karts actually go over 5 miles an hour. And they typically redo the track so that you don't get used to it. It kind of changes things up a little bit. It's a great little facility, and quite frankly, I haven't heard any negative opinions about it. Get down to Joe's Karting today if you haven't done it already. It's good for a group event. It's good for family outings. It's good just to go over there and turn some laps and have some fun. So joeskarting.com, karting with a K, for more information on all of that. We've got a busy studio today and a busy hour, actually, with a lot to come. In turn number 4, we are going to preview the Brickyard 400 on NBCSN and IMS Radio at 2:30 today. All the action will be on the big screens at Quaker Steak and Lube. In turn number 3, we're going to talk to Danny the Dude Lasoski. The big race coming up this Friday and Saturday. Thursday and Friday. Thank you, Stan, at I-80 Speedway for the road to Knoxville. We'll talk more about that. Turn number 2, we're going to talk to the defending winner at Iowa Speedway, Chris Buescher, about going back and going 2 for 2 at Iowa Speedway. And here in turn number 1, Stan Cisar, Kris, Krug, Jim Hoffman, Dirk, as always, my favorite little co-host over there. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. Everybody, thanks for coming in the studio.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having us,
Glad to be here.
All right, let's talk about this road to Knoxville. It started off as a Friday-only July 31st date, and then, as seems to be Joe Koziski's way, he constantly says, how can I make this bigger? So he brought Jim Hoffman in on this, and he brought Phil
Durst.
Phil Durst in on this, too. You guys have partnered up, and you've made it a pretty big race.
Yes, we have. I've always wanted to put on a race with Joe, and for years. And I was motorsports with the World Herald for 20 years, and I've known Joe since he was 16 years old, and he came up to me, he says, can you be in my office in 20 minutes? I said, sure. We're going to Lincoln. I says, what for? I want you to meet a guy. He's just like you. And there we went, and we hit it off, and that was only 6 weeks ago.
Wow. Yeah, it turned around pretty quickly, didn't it, Stan?
Everything's happening really fast, and we're trying to tie up all the loose ends here a week away from race day. But everything's coming together, and it's, how the Silver Dollar Nationals have grown in the last 5 years. I know Jim and Phil and everybody involved have every intention of turning the Road to Knoxville Sprint Car Classic into another event like that's going to happen year after year.
So this is now going down Thursday and Friday. It's going to include the National Sprint League 410 Sprint Cars and ASCS National 360 Sprint Cars. So these two are going to battle for a grand total purse of $140,000 over the 2 days.
Correct. Biggest sprint car purse in the state of Nebraska.
That's huge.
And see, Joe, he was going to put the NSL on for that Friday. And when he got me involved, I says, man, we need a bigger race, Joe. We got to do a bigger race. So my idea was, let's get another circuit involved. Joe says, I don't think they'll do that. And I says, why not? I hate going to car races. There's only 25 cars there. Let's get 80.
Yeah.
So we called ASCS and called NSL, and Joe did. And he didn't think they'd accept it, and they did. And, man, we were on the road.
That's something special, that bringing these series together that typically, they're fighting for drivers. Even though they're two different engine sizes, they're really fighting for drivers.
And the fact that it's sanctioned with both national tour. Even though the NSL, kind of a regional tour, it is a national caliber tour. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. A lot of the drivers competing with the National Sprint League that are located in Central America, there are regulars on the World of Outlaw circuit with quite a number of World of Outlaw wins, as well as drivers from other areas of the country have kind of relocated into the Midwest just to run the NSL series.
What's the track conditions going to be like that night? If we get 80 sprint cars there's going to be a lot of rubber laid down, right?
Well, yes and no. There may be less laps. than what you see on some of the regular weekly shows. And the key to it is going to be the weather, obviously. But after watching the track prep for last weekend, and as good as the track was after the checkered flag of that Silver Dollar Nationals, I think Steve and Mike Rusko and the whole Steve K and Mike Rusko, the track prep guys at I-80, they're doing a great job, and I'm sure they'll put a good track underneath these guys.
Well, there was 60 late models on it for the Silver Dollar Nationals,
and 30
plus
modifieds.
30 modifieds, and to my surprise, and I'm still learning about this sport, but it didn't take down much rubber. Did you see much rubber, Dirk?
No, they didn't take any rubber at all on Saturday.
And multiple features. They run multiple features both nights. In the qualifying nights and on the final night. With the Belt Bash and the Cubbies Chase. As well as the 2 complete modified shows. All the late models, 60 late models, doing 2 sets of qualifiers. There were a lot of laps on that track, and it held up really well.
The key to the fans was there was no dust.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. 3 nights of beautiful track. I'll tell you, Steve and his guys, they are very good. I've been to tracks all over the country, and you always see dust.
The 8 o'clock start helped that.
Dust.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, and these guys have got that race down. I mean, Steve works his tail off all week long to make sure the track's done. They schedule everything correctly. They make sure the right kind of cars are out there to make sure the track's taken care of. They really do go behind the scenes to make sure everything's done correctly for that race.
Yep. Actually, a lot of race fans have no idea the preparation that goes into putting on an event, a one-day event, let alone a 2 or 3 day event.
Yeah, I got to do a pace lap on Thursday night around with that Koziski Auto Parts Camaro that they were having pace the field, and Steve was obviously driving it because he drives a pace car. And,
nice-looking car.
Oh, it was beautiful. That's a salvage title, by the way. That is a salvage title. He was up in Des Moines one day, up in that area, and he saw the Camaro, and he said, Joe, I think we need to buy that. It had a little water damage because they left the windows open during a rainstorm or something like that. Salvage title. He bought that thing brand new. I mean, it's a gorgeous car.
Fine sticker job on that, too.
Yeah.
Whoever did it, I'm not sure who it was. Whoever did it, one fine sticker job on it.
ActionSigns.com.
Hey, Dan, with the salvage title, the car probably was in a flood. It probably didn't have the windows left open.
He said there was just a little bit of water at the bottom. You're probably right. With the rain we've had this year, it probably was involved in a flood. But anyways, my point was, I got to sit in that car, and I was just asking Steve every single question I could think of for track prep, and I'm pretty sure I annoyed him. He pulls into the pits, and he goes, all right, and he hops out of the car and just pretty much gave me the boot. But, yeah, they do a fantastic job out there. Jim, Stan, Chris, with the caliber of payout that is potential for this race, are we going to see some of the World of Outlaw regulars like Schatz and Shane Stewart, Madsen, Sweet, and Saldana? You think you're going to see any of those guys come over?
You won't see those guys because they're contractually obligated to the World of Outlaws, and they'll be racing in Canada that night. So the upside of that is, with the World of Outlaws racing so far away, they're going to anybody that's in the neighborhood that maybe would consider going to the Outlaw race, they're not going to travel all the way to Eastern Canada. So I'm thinking it's pretty good likelihood we're going to have a great field of cars on hand.
Absolutely.
And the NSL's had, they've had, looking at their point standings, they only list the top 40 drivers. Those are top 40 drivers that are members of the NSL. Technically, you have to be a member to participate in the points fund. But there's well over 40 cars that have competed with the NSL thus far in 2015, and we're expecting over 40 cars, hopefully more,
Yeah, as Stan mentioned with that, the World of Outlaws on their contract, even on nights that get rained out. Say we had an incident out in Knoxville a couple weeks ago where Lakeside got rained out for their Outlaw show, and they had to ask permission, even for a weekly show, to travel up to Knoxville and race there through their series. So, unfortunately, we won't see any Outlaw drivers there, but we're going to see one heck of a field of cars, though. You're going to see a great field of cars.
Well, and this is something, the World of Outlaws were recently at I-80 Speedway, and we'll talk a little bit later on with Danny about this, but there was 3 heat races, a B main, and an A main. All 5 World of Outlaw races were won by National Sprint League regulars and members.
Chris, being the weekly announcer over at Knoxville Raceway, have you heard from any of those guys over there that are talking about coming over this way?
Quite a few. We'll see. I know Omaha natives, Dakota Hendrickson, he'll be out there. I know Jack Dover will be there as well from Nebraska. As far as I know, Don Drought Jr. will be there. Of course, he had some falling out with his team out at Knoxville. He's riding for himself right now, actually.
He's back in the family-owned car number 2 and picked up a second-place finish out at I-80 last Thursday night.
Yep, exactly. We'll see quite a few of the guys. It seems like those guys that when we're not running at Knoxville, but I-80 is. We've seen it twice before this year with the NE 360 series. They like to travel out there. The very first night, the very first race at I-80 for sprint cars this year, I think we had 7 or 8 guys from Knoxville come out there and race, and I think we had 5 of the top 6 drivers in the A feature.
The big track guys, Knoxville, although it's totally different than I-80, with much less banking, but the big track guys tend to like racing on the big tracks and run well on the big tracks. And the
smaller guys,
if you can kind of compare the ASCS portion of that event to the Midwest Fall Brawl. Last year we had right at 40 or just a little more than 40 cars for that event, and I think we can expect the same field, if not more, and that includes a lot of Knoxville regulars.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic night, and we're going to tease it a little bit now. Jim, you've got an announcement you're going to make, and you're going to try to tease a little bit for Danny coming up in turn number 3.
Oh, we haven't said anything to the public yet, and I think it's interesting to the fans, but we thought, well, if anybody could sweep both nights, because about hopefully 8 or 10 are going to be running both divisions. And we thought, well, we'll give a $10,000 bonus if somebody can sweep the 2 nights. But when I talked to Danny.
In both divisions?
Yes.
Or just one? Okay.
And I'm going to talk to Danny. When we talk to Danny, I'm going to say, hey, I'll give you a little incentive, Danny.
Yeah.
We're going to up that to $20,000. So
$20,000 bonus.
And they can already win. The feature winner in the 410s is $10,000 on Friday and $5,000 on Thursday, and the 360s is $3,000 on Thursday and $4,000 Friday, and then we've got the mods running too, and they run them for $2,000. So
technically, if somebody did sweep the four features in the sprint cars, they could take home $42,000.
There you go,
and then some. Yeah,
that would be. I mean, that's close to the Midwest Fall Brawl payout for that bonus.
Second largest. Yeah,
and not only that. We talk about the racing action, having all those sprint car drivers out there, having some of the best A-Mod drivers in the area come out and race, but you've also got a former Legends of the Dirt series that we do here on the front stretch. Doug Wolfgang is going to be there doing an appearance.
Yeah, that's for all the old-timers that used to love to watch Doug Wolfgang race, all over the Midwest. Great guy. And he'll be there. He's got a book he sells. He'll autograph that. He'll autograph pictures. He'll talk to you. Good guy. And he came because he wanted to be a part of it because he said, I can't believe you're putting 2 sprint car leagues together. Nobody's ever done that. I got to be a part of it. So he's coming.
Dirk, you think we can get some things autographed, give away on the show?
Yeah, I'll have my running shoes on. I'll get you handled.
We'll get that taken care of for you guys. I tell you what, after the weekend at the Silver Dollar Nationals, our prize vault exploded. We got some amazing stuff to give away throughout the year, and we're just going to be handing that stuff out. So make sure you be listening to that. Also, next weekend, talking about sprint cars, Shaylee Bade's going to join us on the show. She's bringing in some stuff. So
yeah, and if we got any pizza left, you could save a couple pieces for Shaylee. Unfortunately, she came across the scales 5 pounds light over at Eagle Raceway last week and got DQ'd and wasn't able to run that A-main event. But
she's going to need the whole pizza.
I heard she was in the gym this week though, trying to put on some weight. So
get that iron up, right?
She's having some fun with it, Scott Bloomquist came across the scales at Eldora a little bit light, and he's not taking it so lightheartedly. But of course, there's not the big purse that's on the line there. But Shaylee's having fun with it online. She's having some fun.
We talked about possibly putting a passenger seat in and letting Smokey Bacon ride with her in the sprint car, and that would obviously put her over the weight limit. That wouldn't be.
Yeah, that pig is definitely 5 pounds. So that pig all of a sudden got big, which most pigs do. Jim, what else is going on? I mean, we've also got a Dolly Parton impersonator that's going to be singing before the races.
And she is every bit as good as Dolly. I hate to say that. She's even been on TV with her. We've got a picture on our poster. She looks the same. She sings unbelievable. And just, I think racing people like Dolly Parton. And
where's she going to be singing at?
In front of the grandstand.
Right in front of the grandstand.
We're going to build a stage there and then put curtains up and then take them down for the races so they can see. So it'll start at 7 and 20-minute concert both nights, and then she'll be around to sign autographs.
Is Stan going to play Kenny Rogers so they can do some duets?
Pictures. Yeah, we could do that.
That would be awesome.
That would. Hey, good idea.
This all goes down this Thursday and Friday at I-80 Speedway. It's the road to Knoxville, the largest sprint car purse in Nebraska history, $140,000 on the line.
Yep. $3,000, as Jim said, $3,000 on Thursday night for the 360s, $4,000 on Friday, and then with the NSL, $5,000 on Thursday, $10,000 on Friday. It's the third largest payout in the NSL season. So it's one that the drivers are all looking forward to. A lot of local interest. Of course, a lot of the Nebraska 360 guys, the regulars, will be there. Jack Dover's awful tough.
Yeah.
Wayne Johnson will be back in the house. He picked up the bonus for $60,000 at the Fall Brawl, and he's a member of the ASS Tour. He has also picked up the first ever NSL feature win over at Burlington, Iowa earlier this year before he joined the 360 series. But everybody's got to do what works for them, and I talked to Wayne. Wayne's looking forward to getting back to I-80 Speedway. Of course, Jack Dover's waiting for the guys to come in. Lasoski, between him and Brian Brown, they just about own the place.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's can't stress enough to the fans. It's one of these events that's gonna build into something, and to be there at that inaugural race, they're really looking forward to it.
I'm kind of worried about what Joe's going to do about the parking in the infield. I mean, it's going to be crazy in there.
Well, yeah, it was pretty crowded. I'm thinking, hopefully the modifieds might have to park out on the backstretch.
Maybe,
or does he pull the Knoxville Nationals gig where he unload and pull out, and so there's more condensed space?
No
chance.
I don't think he'll do
so.
that. No.
Okay.
It'll be interesting this Thursday and Friday. You can get your tickets in advance at sprintcarpromotion.com.
Yes, and there's a number you can call for reserved.
Yeah, there is reserved seats, so make sure you do that.
877-840-0457, and
don't forget you can stop by local USave and Casey's General Stores and pick up $5 off coupons.
Now, are the tickets there at those convenience stores,
when
or
they go,
you get the coupon?
They get a coupon for $5 off. It's just like giving them $5, and you get in for $5 less.
Okay,
so
great.
That's
and you can
general
bring that to the
admission.
ticket window.
Reserve, they call.
I'll tell you in advance, this happens to everybody. It happened at the World of Outlaws race. It's going to happen tonight. You got to get there early. Thursday and Friday night. You got to get there early to make sure you get the right seats, you get in advance, and you don't have to stand in line and wait for the ticket windows to get caught back up, because it's going to be a packed crowd, and you're going to be waiting for a little while if you wait until the last minute to get out there. Get there early.
2015, the inaugural Road to Knoxville at I-80 Speedway.
This will be great. Jim Hoffman, I appreciate you coming in the studio. You're going to stick around in turn number 3 and have a conversation with Dirk, with Danny. I appreciate your support of the show, by the way. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate that. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in turn number 2. Dirk and I are going to talk with Chris Buescher about defending his race win at Iowa Speedway coming up August 1st. We'll be back here on the front stretch.
One of the hardest things to find in the world is a trusted mechanic. Your car breaks down. You need someone that won't see you as an opportunity to pad their wallet. Jim at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is that person. From brake and AC inspections to custom exhaust and new tires, Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is your new trusted source for getting your car back on the road. Find them on Facebook at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service Center of Bellevue and online at tuffybellevue.com.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
This is Andrew from Kosiski Auto Parts. Kosiski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Kosiski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kosiski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kosiski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
We're hooked up in turn 2 and still showing the green flag on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch, heading into turn number 2, presented by Kosiski Auto Parts, online at Kosiski.com. Find them at 51st and I Street. Quality used parts at an affordable price. Kosiski Auto Parts, the best place to get back on the road at an affordable price. And we're talking to a man who's making his way up through the ranks in the NASCAR Touring Series, and I believe a 3-time winner in the Xfinity Series. Chris Buescher, how you doing today, sir?
Doing good. We're hanging in there.
Well, that's all you can ask for some days.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll see how it turns out. Weather's really nice, and see what we can get ourselves into.
Yeah, and you're coming back to Iowa, and that's the reason why we're talking to you. The race is this Saturday, and for the race over at Iowa Speedway. You won it back in May, so kind of talk to us a little bit about that race, and if you can, kind of take us through some of the highlights for that race for you.
Yeah, looking forward to getting back to Iowa. I feel like that's definitely a place that we have a little bit of pressure on us now, coming off our win there. We feel like we had a really good car, though, and if we can take something back that's similar, we're going to be in really good shape. So, looking forward to getting out there. We got a new sponsor on board. Just talk a little bit about what we got going on there. I mean, the last race was awesome for us. It was a little nerve-wracking. The groove widened out a little bit more than it has there previously, and and on top of that, the racing was really good because of it. So we got a late race restart that we really needed. We had to come down and get our last set of tires that the other guys had already gotten, and that really set us up for a great green-white checker finish, and we were able to get our first win of 2015 in the Xfinity Series there.
In that Iowa race, it kind of did seem to come down to a lot of strategy of who's going to take how many tires on what pit stop, and that kind of played into your favor at the end of the race. Sometimes that could very well be the other side of the coin for you, though.
Yeah, definitely, and it almost was. We had a really fast Ford Mustang all weekend. Throughout the race, we were able to drive our way up to the front and lead a bunch of laps. We knew we were going to be in good shape. We just had to have a couple things go our way, and a couple guys got off on a different strategy due to circumstances, and it almost worked out really well. But all things considered, it turned out really well for us. We were able to get that win and drive by those guys on that late restart.
The characteristic at Iowa Speedway, that's always kind of the conversation with those bumps through the corners. Is it getting better? Are the bumps getting more severe? Is it maybe time for Iowa to think about maybe kind of working those bumps out of the groove?
The bumps are getting worse, but it's definitely not time to do anything about it. I mean, that's when these tracks get fun. They get some character to them. It's not always a case where you have to go fix something because it gets bumpy. I mean, there's a lot of places that would benefit from a little bit of character to them, and I think Iowa's really good right now. They did the work that they had to do to get some of the water from up underneath the track, and I think they did a good job there. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot that needs to be done, in my opinion, to really make it a good racetrack. I mean, I think you see every time I go there, and whatever series goes there, they put on a good show, and they're able to race side by side 2, 3, and even 4 wide. I saw in the ARCA race a couple days ago.
Hey, Kris, a couple weeks after that Iowa win, you guys were racing up at Dover, and you had one of those interesting situations at the end of the race where you proved you wanted to win. How much trouble did that cause back at the shop?
Not really that bad. I mean, that's coming out of the end of Dover, everybody was on some kind of strategy, and fuel mileage there was obviously key for us at that point. We had run pretty decent all day, and it felt comfortable about where we're at, and got in a window to where Scott really felt like we could make it to the end on fuel as long as we started saving. And really from the time we left pit road, that stop before, we were saving fuel, and there's a lot of people that are very, very curious about how we made it that long on fuel, but it's something that we've gotten good fuel mileage this year, and we've been able to stretch it into these situations. And sometimes that's all you need is to put yourself in a position to be able to. And if everything plays out your way, you'll be able to get a win. So it was cool to get our second win in just 3 weeks, and now we gotta get back to where we were. I feel like we've had a little bit of an off couple weeks, and we just need to keep working and get back to where we were in that short stretch of the year.
Yeah, but there with roughing up your teammate there at the end of the race, what kind of repercussions came back from that?
Really none. I mean, that was just hard racing.
Yeah, like I said, to me, it proved you wanted to win. That's, if I was the team owner, I would have said, way to go,
Yeah. I mean, it's part of racing. We're going to race hard. Hate that as a teammate, but it all comes down to it. You got to do what you got to do to get the win. Obviously, there was nothing intentional there. Just just part of it.
It's a very unique dynamic that seems to be exclusive to Iowa, and I'm sorry, that's kind of redundant, unique, and exclusive. But anyways, is that you guys do have teams, but as soon as that green flag waves, and while you guys are on the racing surface, there's no such thing as teammates.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we have teammates for a reason, and we work really well together throughout the weekends, and we share a lot of information with our 4 teams, and that helps us each and every week. I mean, I feel like we're able to bounce things off each other and get better every time we go to the racetrack. So, you'll have that. Once you get into the race, it's tough racing with teammates. It's tough racing with friends, and every one of us has had to go through that all our lives growing up. So, you just gotta take it as it comes and try and be a little extra cautious if you can. But when it comes down to the end of these things and getting a race win, it's hard to do, and those chances come around too few and far between the chances you get to win these races. So you gotta take advantage of it.
If you come down to the end of the race and outside of your teammates, who would be somebody you would want to be racing next to, because they're going to drive you clean for those last 5 to 10 laps?
I've had a lot of fun racing with a lot of guys, and one of the more recent ones, Brennan Gaughan and I always have a lot of fun racing around each other. We're always able to keep it clean, rub a little fender here and there, but be able to put on a show, and so that's the one that comes to mind right away. And I get along really well with Brennan, and he's a good guy and learned a lot racing around.
Brendan's a great friend of our show here.
Well, I don't know how you get along with him, because he's such a jerk. Guy never laughs, never cracks a joke, no personality.
No, not him. Not him.
Yeah, Chris, I got to know Brendan. I was an official with the Truck Series back when Wayne Naughton ran the Truck Series. I know he's your series director now, but him and Mike Dolan were both back with the Truck Series in the early 2000s, so I know Brendan real well. A few other guys in your series, like David Starr, I know pretty good, and some of the older guys. So, yeah, when you talk about Brendan, talking about good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking with Chris Buescher, driving the number 60 Roush Fenway Chevrolet the Roush Fenway Ford Mustang.
Get yourself in trouble right there.
Oh, boy. Sorry about that. For the upcoming race at Iowa Speedway for the U.S. Cellular 250. Chris, and this has nothing to do with the conversation we just had about your teammate, but would you wreck your brother to get a win?
Well, if I had a brother, I'd wreck my mom. I really want to put that down there. I don't know if I'd wreck her, but I'd move her. I mean, that's the way you got to look at it. It's like tough, and at this level, it's the second tier of racing in the nation. I mean, this is a hard place to get to, an even harder place to stay at, and there's a lot of guys here that have earned their way just the same, and they're going to race just as hard as they can each and every week. So we're all very privileged to be where we're at, and we need to make sure that we treat it as such. And I apologize. I thought James Buescher was your brother, but now I'm actually reading some correct information. He's your cousin. Correct. All right. Correct. How's that dynamic between you two? Do you guys get to talk a lot? I know he's not in the Xfinity series as much, but do you guys get to kind of bounce off each other very much, or is it it's two distant teams and two different to really be able to conversate? I guess for a long time it was two different teams, so it was hard to really bounce a lot of information back and forth. I mean, we could talk in more general than anything, I guess. But when you look at it, you gotta try and keep that advantage to yourself at the same time. So there's always a little bit of competition when it came to Thanksgiving dinner, I guess. So outside of the track, is there something you're looking forward to the most for Iowa Speedway this coming weekend? Outside of the track, I mean, honestly, we love going to Iowa because of our history there. I mean, the last race was great. We've had some good races there before. I had a lot of fun there in the ARCA series. We have a ton of fans that show up for that race. It's really cool to be able to see as many people come out as they do, and we get to do an autograph session out on the front stretch there, and seem to pack the house. So looking forward to that and getting back. And they got one of the coolest trophies of the year, so we need to add another one of those for the mantle.
Amen. Talking to Chris Buescher, driver of the number 60 Roush Fenway Ford Mustang.
There you go.
Hey, who's that new sponsor you're bringing on this weekend?
So we can't necessarily talk about it just yet.
Oh,
so
okay. Well,
you have to follow us on social media. We'll have it up very soon.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. We appreciate your time, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Good luck, Chris.
Thank you.
So, again, you can see Chris Buescher and the Xfinity Series drivers this weekend at Iowa Speedway. Tickets are on sale at iowaspeedway.com. It's a great track. It's a great facility. You and I have talked about it quite a bit. We love the facility. I just really hope and pray that the Cup boys stay in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, and the Xfinity boys and girls can be in Iowa. It really did turn out to be a great race last time, and we've seen some good racing there, but really Xfinity Series or the second tier series was not my favorite racing action at Iowa Speedway, because somebody like Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, or even years ago Carl Edwards would come down and they just dominate, and that's not any fun to watch that.
Yeah, when they were flying back and forth from Pennsylvania, because this race has been on Pocono weekend almost every year, was when they could run for points.
Yeah.
Now that they're not running for points, there's no reason for them to hustle back and forth.
It's a great facility. It's a great weekend. Make sure you get your tickets. Weekend passes are available now. iowaspeedway.com. There is so much going on. I'm looking at the weekend of stuff to go on. K&N Pro Series is going to be going on, so that means Rico's going to be there again. Our friend Rico Abreu, who got himself a win a couple of weeks ago, right?
Well, is it a conjunction race with both East and West, or?
Yeah, both Iowa races are conjunctions between East and West.
Yeah, then he should be there. I was going to say, if it's not a conjunction race, he might not be there, but he should be there.
BMX bike shows going on Friday and Saturday. There's a concert after the race. I'm trying to find the band that's going to be there again this year. But they do an absolutely terrific job with everything that goes on at Iowa Speedway. So make sure you pick up. Rock Gods is going to be the band that's going to be playing after the K&N Series race on Friday. Your tickets to either Friday or Saturday will get you into that concert for free. But pick up a weekend passes. It's completely worth it. It's going to be a great weekend of racing. And Dirk and I will be over this coming Saturday to just kind of get some stuff for the show. Maybe pick up some more prize vault items and to get some audio.
Prize vault.
That thing's getting overfilled, by the way, for the Silver Island Nationals.
Well, I'll take some of it home.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. Turn number 3, we will talk with Danny the Dude Lasoski. We'll talk about the road to Knoxville coming up this Thursday and Friday at I-80 Speedway. Boy, what a weekend you could have. Sprint car racing on Thursday and Friday, and Xfinity racing is Saturday at Iowa Speedway.
A lot of driving in between.
A lot of driving in between, absolutely. We'll be back in turn number 3 to talk to the dude. We'll be back here on the front stretch.
Side-by-side, high-flying wing sprint cars. It's the road to Knoxville. 2 nights, 2 wing sprint car series, 4 races. July 30th through the 31st at I-80 Speedway in Greenwood, Nebraska. See the FPP National Sprint League and the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Series. Race in a pair of high-speed, dirt-kicking features each night. 2 races, 1 ticket. July 30th through the 31st at I-80 Speedway. For more information, go to sprintcarpromotions.com.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100 plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Welcome back to the front stretch, heading into turn number 3, brought to you by the Road to Knoxville, July 30th and 31st at I-80 Speedway. National Sprint League 410s and ASCS 360 National Sprint Cars will compete for the largest sprint car purse in Nebraska history. $140,000 is on the line for the nation's best sprint car drivers. You can also get $5 off coupons at U-Stop and Casey's General Stores. Visit SprintCarPromotions.com for advanced tickets and reserved seating. Joining us on the show now is the man who won at the World of Outlaws last time they were there on June 5th, and going to be hopefully standing in victory lane with a couple thousand more. Richard, Danny Lasoski, how you doing, sir?
Great, man. Thank you very much for having us on our phone on the show today, and it's we sure hope we're staying in victory lane. That'd be great.
Danny, I want to run something by you real quick. This was the announcing call for the final last few laps at the World of Outlaws. Kind of relive it with us, then we're going to ask you a couple of questions about that, okay?
Okay.
Can Donnie Schatz get by Danny Lasoski? Schatz started 13th. Back underway. Lasoski enters in the middle of 1 and 2. Donnie Schatz goes to the top, then cuts to the bottom to exit the corner. Schatz all over Lasoski into 3 and 4. Lasoski down low. Schatz up top. Schatz with a run on Lasoski down the front straightaway. They bang bumpers at the start-finish line. Schatz to the top in 1 and 2. A run again down the back straightaway. Brian Brown third, Jason Sides fourth, Shane Stewart at fifth. Lasoski on the bottom, Schatz on the top out of turn 4. 2 to go, Lasoski and Schatz side by side. New leader, Donnie Schatz into turn 1. Schatz started 13th and has the race lead. Lasoski coming back at him down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Lasoski's going to slide up in front of Schatz and take the lead back. Schatz turns it back underneath him with the white flag. Schatz leads with 1 to go. Lasoski back to the bottom in 1 and 2. Lasoski has the lead back into 3 and 4. It's going to come down to the final corner. Schatz to the top. Lasoski on the bottom. Schatz underneath. Lasoski out of turn 4, but Lasoski has it. Lasoski wins. Lasoski got it back from Donnie Schatz on the final lap.
Oh, God. Oh.
What a finish.
Oh.
What a finish.
I'm exhausted again.
Dan, I don't think you were breathing.
I had to keep reminding myself, I'm not in the car. Take a breath, take a breath. Danny, take us through those last few laps. That had to be just an epic battle behind the wheel.
It was, anytime you can race like that side by side with a guy that you trust racing side by side with, it's a good feeling. You know, he's the best in the country right now, and you know that when you race him, you're racing the best. And to be able to beat him, I don't care if he starts 13th and we start on pole. Anytime you can beat him, it's a definite feather in our cap for our team. It's a good deal, and we're very much looking forward to coming back there.
Take us through those last few laps. I mean, you were kind of moving your line around to make sure and hold him off, and you were better coming out of 4. He was better coming out of 2. I mean, that was just an epic chess match to see who was going to go where for those last couple of laps.
It's exactly what you said. It was a chess match because when you're racing that close, that hard, you're going to go where the other competitor's not. And that's basically, we just happened to put ourselves in the right place on the last lap, which counted at the start-finish line.
Well, exactly. You know, and if one driver's better in 1 and 2 and the other driver's better in 3 and 4, you always want to be that guy that's better coming off turn number 4, right?
That's where it pays the money, absolutely.
That kind of reminded me of a race from a couple of years ago at the 360 Nationals. You and Rico Abreu had, Rico took the lead with, I think, white flag, and, it's not over till the final checkered flag, and Danny battled back and stole the lead back in turns 3 and 4 in that final lap and took the win on one of the preliminary nights.
Yeah, that was Kyle Larson.
Yeah, Kyle.
That's
Larson,
right, Kyle.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle Larson, yeah. But what a race, you know.
You seem to have had some pretty...
Those are the ones you remember.
You've seemed to have had some pretty epic battles like that with Donnie Schatz at the World of Outlaws at I-80 Speedway and what Stan was just talking about with Kyle Larson. Does the one with Donnie Schatz kind of rank up there, or is there some more that are a little bit better?
Well, racing with him, it rates right up there. You know, it was a good race, and I think if we'd won another 5 laps, you'd probably seen the same thing for 5 more laps. I think we both had equal race cars at that time, and actually we're very fortunate we got to finish the race because right prior to that last red flag, we were out of fuel.
Yeah.
You know,
I was kind of hoping they would go another 5 or 10 laps because that was pretty awesome.
You know, it's something we talked about just a little bit earlier. You know, you were the flag bearer that night for the National Sprint League, and at the last World of Outlaw show down at I-80 Speedway, all 5 races were won by NSL regulars.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's great.
All 3 heat races.
It's a great series. It's a great series. It's got a lot of momentum right now, and we hope we can keep that in the Midwest because the Midwest are starving for 410 races.
Yeah, speaking of the Midwest and the NSL Series, right now you're driving for Todd Queering, the founder of the NSL Series. Have you had a chance to talk to him about his thoughts on how this first season's going for him? And in his eyes, it seems like everything's going pretty well for you guys.
Well, no, we haven't talked recently about how it's going. We started a series out and made a plan to put forth the effort to make it successful. I can't see how he would not be successful right now. Be happy about it because it's rolling really good.
Well, fantastic. Now, I mean, you were running over 100 races some years in your full-time Outlaw days, and the NSL in its first year was running 32 races. Do you see this series, the National Sprint League, ever growing to the heights of the Outlaws, or is he kind of content with keeping it around 30 to 40 races a year?
Well, this is only my opinion only.
Yeah.
I don't see how I can get like the Outlaws because the guys in the Midwest, a lot of the guys don't do it for a living. A lot of guys have regular jobs. It's hard for them to get away. So I think if he could keep the races around 50 races, I think you'll see more and more support for him. I could be wrong. It could be up to 100, but I think 50, let's crawl before we walk.
And personally, altogether, you're running around 70 races this season. Do you like the condensed season that you have for you and Guy Forbrook, or are you one that likes to be in the car day and night running 100 races a year?
Yeah, I'm the guy that wants to run 120 races a year. I want to run as many as we can because at the end of the day, there's going to be one of these days I got to hang up my helmet, and I want to make sure that I can cram every race I can in that time period.
Well, let's leave that day far away, okay?
Yeah, deal.
Not anytime soon. Going back to what he was talking about and what you were saying about the NSL being a primarily Midwest-based series, kind of looking ahead down the road a little bit, do you see with Tony Stewart purchasing the All-Star Circuit of Champions, possibly maybe having 3 to 5 really big regional touring 410 series and having each one be an NSL in its own right, and then possibly having maybe a 10-race series where those guys get together, including the Knoxville Nationals?
Oh, I mean, that would be the concept is fantastic. I mean, I don't necessarily see it happening really soon because I don't know what the like Tony's agenda is or Todd's agenda, but I think for the fans that'd be fantastic.
I know there has been some talk about having a couple combined races, but with everything happening so fast for 2015 and Tony's purchase, the logistics just didn't happen. But I think going forward, I think you might be able to see that happen, maybe one even at I-80 Speedway.
Well, I hope so because I think that'd be a phenomenal place to have it.
We're talking a lot about the 410s and adding 410 series to the Midwest to be able to bring that series back. One big thing that we had a conversation with Jack Dover about last weekend was he said the reason why he's not able to step up to that is because the cost is just so high. Is there something that you as a regular 410 driver could say, guys, can we please wrap this down and say a unified tire rule, maybe making the engines cheaper to refresh, maybe not have to refresh them as much? Is there something you can think of that would make the series much more affordable for drivers?
I'm 1,000,000% against what Jack Dover just said because that's not true. It costs you the same amount to run a 360 as it does a 410. The only thing different is the block. And, with him, he's got a motor deal, so he's not paying for motors anyway. So that's not necessarily true. I've run them both, and it costs just the same amount, same tires, same cars. The only thing difference, one's aluminum block, one's a steel block, and I hear they're going to change to aluminum block. So it's going to be the same price. All the parts are exactly the same. So to me, we were racing for less money than we have in a long, long time. Now that we got momentum on our side with an NSL, I think it's nothing but good things. And for what Phil and Ryan Durst are doing and promoting this race and getting all the money out there, I see nothing but good things coming.
Hey, speaking of money, Danny, with us in the studio is Jim Hoffman. That's Phil's partner in this race of the Road to Knoxville. Jim, might want to talk to you a little bit about some dollars and cents.
Hey, you heard, we were throwing around in the beginning. We were anybody could sweep the 2 nights. We were going to give a $10,000 bonus. And I talked to Phil and want to give you a little incentive. We're going to raise it to $20,000. So if anybody can pull that off, that'll be $42,000 to sweep everything with 20 there. So hey, I'll give you a little incentive. There you go.
We really appreciate you and Phil doing that. Giving back to the sport that's been near and dear to me. Mm-hmm. Phil's been a long-time supporter. Phil's Ryan. And again, we thank you for doing this, and hopefully we can put on a great show not only for you guys but for the as well.
Well, there you go. We're going to raise it from a $10,000 bonus to a $20,000 bonus. So there goes my question about how to save money. We're just going to go ahead and make you guys more money.
So obviously you'll be in the number 2 car with the NSL, with wrenched by Guy Forbrook, and I go clear back to the beginning of the Bellino I-80 Speedway days, and you guys used to own that place down there.
We've been really fortunate, and we've had a good race car for a long time there. Hopefully, we can come back in a couple weeks and be a contender for that bonus. That would be a great thing to be able to do the first year out, and hopefully we can build this thing year after year and make it bigger and better every year. And
obviously, you'll be in the banana wagon, Mark Birch's machine in the 360 division, right?
No, Mark has a class he teaches for the University of Nebraska, and he's not going to be able to attend that. So I'll be in my black 33 car.
Be in your own car. Great. Well, that's good.
But I will have a Mark Birch car plane under the hood.
We're talking with Danny, the dude Lasoski, driver of the number 2 and the number 33. He's going to be at I-80 Speedway this Thursday and Friday for the Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, and speaking of the 360 car, Danny, it was recently announced that the NSL next year was going to be having a 360 series. What are your thoughts on the move for the NSL? Do you see the ASCS kind of where do you see this for the NSL?
Thought about the 360 program that he put together, and I can guarantee you whatever he gets involved with is going to be nothing but first class.
Danny, I wanted to talk about your nickname, The Dude. Did you get that nickname because it's close to the Big Lebowski, or are you a big White Russian and bowling fan?
No, my great-grandfather came in the day I was born and got me out of those incubators. Walking up and down the hall of the hospital.
Said that's your little dude?
Yeah.
That's how I got it.
Danny, my last question for you personally here, it revolves around Knoxville, calling some of the 360 races out there with Tony Botkoven. You ran so well at Knoxville over your career. You're the winningest driver in the history of the racetrack, over 100 410 feature wins. And now that you're at the Marion County Fairgrounds every week this year and you're walking away at the point standings with the help of Guy Forbrook and Todd Queering behind you, owning the team, come August, you guys have to feel like you have something for Donnie Schatz this Saturday night at the Knoxville Nationals.
Well, we would like to think so, but as you know in racing, you can never count on anything. When that week comes into play, you have to have a lot of luck on your hands. Everything has to go your way. And we're going in with an open mind to just do the very best job that we can as a team and let the chips fall where they may. We got confidence, yes. We got a great team, yes. And if everybody can do their job, hopefully we can be a pain in his butt on Saturday night.
I'm looking forward to it on that one. Looking forward to it.
Couple of questions for you, Danny. We kind of go through some of this with a lot of the legendary dirt drivers. Have you ever been interested in going up and racing NASCAR and in the sprint, or just sticking with sprint cars?
Well, for the money aspect, absolutely. But
yeah.
I was born in the wrong time period. When I was ready to go there, I was too young, and when it was ready, then I'm too old. So you get both ways.
Would you jump at the opportunity to drive a truck at Eldora?
Absolutely. I think that'd be a blast. I think trucks need to be at Eldora and they need to be in Knoxville.
I keep hearing things about Knoxville. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that'll happen someday.
Hey, and don't count I-80 out either.
Yeah, no,
I held the ARCA Remax
and talking
series
to Joe K.
After that first year of the trucks at Eldora, Joe kind of turns to me just nonchalantly and goes, "Wonder what it'd take to get one of those truck races at I-80." And you could just see the wheels are turning.
The first thing to take is an infield care center. That's the first thing it'd take.
Yep. Danny, the dude Lasoski, man, best of luck with winning that $42,000 this coming Thursday and Friday at I-80 Speedway for the road to Knoxville.
Well, thank you very much for having us on, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Another good interview. Just wish the cell phone stuff was a little bit better, but great conversation with Danny. All right, we're going to take a break. Dirk and I will be back at turn number 4. We will preview the Brickyard. We'll talk the Pick'ems contest and so much more. This is The Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
One of the hardest things to find in the world is a trusted mechanic. Your car breaks down. You need someone that won't see you as an opportunity to pad their wallet. Jim at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is that person. From brake and AC inspections to custom exhaust and new tires, Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is your new trusted source for getting your car back on the road. Find them on Facebook at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service Center of Bellevue and online at tuffybellevue.com.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he is talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
It's checkers or wreckers as we enter turn 4 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs.
Just about ready to wrap this baby up, heading into turn number 4, brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs, the official watering hole of the front stretch. All the action for today's race at the Brickyard 400 on NBCSN and broadcast on IMS. It's the PRN, MRN version of the Indianapolis broadcast. You don't have to change anything. It's going to be over the same broadcast partners. Green flag action at 2:30. Coverage starts at 1:30. You can catch all the action on the big screens at Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. Boy, what a show we've had today. Thanks so much for everybody who joined us today. Chris Krug, Stan Cisar, and Jim Hoffman taking the time out of their days to talk to us in turn 1 and to help interview Daniel Lasoski in the last turn number 3. And thanks to Chris Buescher for joining us in turn number 2. Again, you can get your tickets for the racing action today, this week, Thursday and Friday, sprintcarpromotions.com or UStop and Casey's General Stores at for a $5 discount. And then you can also pick up Iowa Speedway tickets for the Xfinity race or the K&N race at iowaspeedway.com. Whew. All right, let's talk a little NASCAR action, bud. We don't have much time. We got about 5 more minutes left in the show. So we're going to talk about the Brickyard 400. New rules package for today. So could we see another Kentucky on our hands?
I don't know. The rules package is a little bit different, but Speedway packages are so much different and so unique. The guys have had, stuff like that for a while. The Kentucky package came out of the blue. I think you'll still have your cream of the crop at the top, and as long as they don't have a tire fiasco like they had a couple of years back where they had to go competition caution every 10 laps to put new tires on the cars, I think you'll have some good racing. But I think you'll have your top dogs up top.
As usually you do, you're right. The cream does tend to rise to the top. Let's see. NASCAR's tips from Mr. Fantasy for the Crown Royal 400 at Indianapolis. NASCAR's decided to use a new rule package this week. The series hits a home run with the changes that they made at Kentucky, so we could see the same thing. Hopefully we see the same thing. After last weekend's race at New Hampshire, I mean, that was rough. It got good at the end, but that was rough. Sleeper picks this week is Ryan Newman as far as Chad is concerned. He's very good at his home track, and Newman has the 4th best driver's rating and the 4th best average finish in the last 2 seasons at the Brickyard. So his top 5 drivers for this weekend: Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, and Kurt Busch. Boy, what a tear Kyle Busch has been on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's getting it done.
It's feast or famine for him, and that I guess that kind of seems to be norm for him. But he's driving absolutely crazy. And as he's winning that race in New Hampshire, I'm kind of going through my head, and I'm thinking, so let's say, I think he's got to pick up another 58 points, which is an average of like 8 points better than 30th place right now. By the way, 29th is just a few points in front of that, and 28th is a ways in front of that. So the best he's probably going to finish is 28th. If he continues on the tear he's on. It's getting more and more realistic that he's going to make the chase. And so my thoughts was, once he makes the chase, do you dare change up his driving style? Because how big of a heartbreaker would that be if he qualifies in points, but on the last couple of races, he keeps driving like we love to see him drive, and he drives into the wall. And, only goes away with a couple of points and ends up backing himself out of the chase.
Well, last weekend's race was such a fluke in the fact that he made the green flag pit stop and then was able to pass, I think it was Keselowski and Harvick basically at the same time on the front straightaway, and then catch a caution a half lap later that gave him the race. I mean, if he hadn't got past Harvick and Keselowski, he doesn't win.
That was a heck of a move.
I mean, it was just everything fell so perfectly for him. It's like God looked down and said, "Here you go, Kyle. You get to win today." But I'm still not taking it away from him. It's those things happen. They happen in every race to somebody.
Yeah.
They just both happen to him. At New Hampshire. I personally think that Jeff Gordon is probably really aiming for this race.
Yeah.
With it being in his last year, I think he's the winningest driver at the Brickyard as far as NASCAR is concerned. He's won 3 or 4 times.
He's very good there, that's for sure. But he's struggled all season long, which is just really baffling for the season he had last year.
A lot of it, a lot of the wrecks and stuff, you can't help.
Yeah.
And part of it is, I think, he's putting too much pressure on himself to win some places or to try and get a win to make sure he's in the chase, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think that they'll be really trying this week.
Your top 5 from New Hampshire: Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, and Dale Jr. Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Austin Dillon, Jeff Gordon, and Kurt Busch rounded out the top 10 finishers. All right, we got to end the show. And, we have the next Pick'ems contest we need to get launched. I tell you what, I'm going to go to our Facebook page. We're going to have all the details up there right now. It's going to be the next 5-week contest, and it's going to be for the Midwest Fall Brawl. I wish I could push this off another week so we had time to get the word out, but we just don't have time. With the 5-week contest is going to be coming up after that. We just don't have any time to move, and I'm still, I would have announced it sooner, but we're just still working out some of the finer details. But I promise you, we're going to get tickets to the Midwest Fall Brawl. We will give them away. Make sure to go to the Facebook page and find out more details about how to play the 5-week contest. If you're listening to this and you don't know anything about it, it's completely free. Go to the Facebook page or send us an email, frontstretch590@gmail.com. Next weekend, we're going to have a special guest in the studio, and we'll talk with Shaylee Bade, driver of the Race Saver 305 at Eagle Raceway, and Smokey, her pig's going to come in the studio with us too, so that'll be interesting. Mr. Fantasy Chad Rob's going to join us to talk about the last 6 races before the chase starts, and boy, what a couple of weeks to come here on the Front Stretch for guests and interviews and audio. It's going to be very incredible. Before we know it, it's going to be October, and we're going to be dealing with snow. So
next week we're going to have fresh BLTs in here?
That's horrible. But we'll leave it at that. This is The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Side-by-side, high-flying wing sprint cars. It's the road to Knoxville. 2 nights, 2 wing sprint car series, 4 races. July 30th through the 31st at I-80 Speedway in Greenwood, Nebraska. See the FPP National Sprint League and the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Series. Race in a pair of high-speed dirt kicking features each night. 2 races, 1 ticket. July 30th through the 31st at I-80 Speedway. For more information, go to sprintcarpromotions.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the Front Stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100 plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.